welcome back to Frankie's Forest. Today's video is an exciting one. It's that time of the year again that the orchids are producing their flower spikes. As you can see from my oldest orchid here, my 3.5-year-old orchid, it has 2 spikes being produced, and for my 1-year-old orchid, it has 1 very healthy spike. As well as my orchid over here that I just got from a friend to help bring back the flower stem. It's right there, so soon this one will be out of the channel and I'll have to give this one back. And also my dendrobium, which produced a brand new shoot that will soon have a flower stem emerge from it. So I'm pretty excited for all of these in today's video. And so what we're going to be doing is making sure that all of these stems have a surface to climb up. So when orchid stalks start to grow, they're always going to be directed towards the sunlight. And you may say, oh, that's a great thing because they'll grow long and they'll go all cool and stuff. But also, it's not a very good thing because the flowers are going to be pointed whichever direction the sun is. So if the sun is that way and your flowers are growing that way, but the orchid leaves are pointing this way, it's going to look a little odd if you have the flowers this way and just the backs of the orchid leaves like this. It's going to be a little odd, so it's good to train the flower spikes while you still can, and it's good to do it at an early stage of development. So first, what you have to do is after putting a little, I don't know what this is called, I guess we'll just call it a stake. I find these really useful. You can get them from, I know this is going to sound funny, but the edible arrangements that you may get, these that hold the fruit on them are actually extremely useful for cuttings and any type of plant growth holding up or, And so after we put this on each of them, well, let's take one step at a time. So I'll just put it on each of them now. And like I said, it's good to do this from an early stage of the development because once it's too late, it's going to be extremely difficult to tame the spikes how you want them to go. Okay, so next we got a couple clips to just secure the flower stalks on to the actual stakes. So what we're going to do is we're kind of just going to push the flower stake up. Since I'm using one hand, I'm going to use one part of this, and I'm going to just... There we go. And it's best to use these larger clips because they won't clamp too tightly on the flower stalk, which could then lead to it dying because of water or other nutrients not being able to get up to the flowers. So we're going to do that with each of these stems, but this little one right here, unfortunately, we're not going to be doing that one because it's just a little too small and I don't want to cause any injury to it, but we will be doing the larger one on my orchid here. So we'll be attaching it right here like that. Just like so. Actually, let's attach it a little further up just so it's a little more secure. And as you see, it's pressing very gently on the flower stalk and just keeping it just stable enough to continue growing upwards. Now, because I'm going to be giving this orchid back to someone, I want to use a nicer stake because this is probably going to be the flower spike that I'm going to be giving it back to them with. Okay, so I've gotten a nicer stake. It probably won't grow this tall, but I could always cut it and use it for a smaller orchid. And as you see, the spike is still a little too small, so we're just going to leave this stake here. Now, the dendrobiums, they do not need a spike because they are very sturdy, as you can see. I did used to use these, but they aren't really needed, and they kind of take away the natural look of the plant, and they stand up very well on their own, actually. So, guys, that's pretty much all the orchids we're going to do today. I do have one more that hasn't had a flower spike yet, so I'm not going to go too in-depth on that one. But we do have this one, which I'm going to be giving back to a friend. This one that has its brand new shoot, which I'll make sure to update you guys on a lot. And last but not least, these two, which do have a nice big spike and 2 smaller spikes. This one, if you go see my previous videos, these have bright, well, kind of mild yellow flowers. And these ones have beautiful white flowers, as well as those over there. So guys, without further ado, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please remember to give a thumbs up. Also, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.